Alright, so we got these welded up, and I still need to make the gussets for it, so I'll try to get those cut out today. And also took some measurements, and I mentioned it was off square just a little bit, so I figured, I know this one is straight, so I needed 12 inches. I cut this one a little long, so I marked it for 12, so I might just cut it, and then that be square to this, or this would be flush. So that's what I'm thinking. Just cut that and see it's tapers down a little bit and widens out. So get that straight, and then I might need to grind a little bit off of this edge, but this one's pretty much dead on. So goal today, get these cut down. I'll measure again, but I believe a 5-foot section is what I need out of here. So from this, the highest point, to 5 feet. I should put this section right alongside of the bottom here. So it should be, put it right along there. Start to get this cut out. And what I think I'm gonna try to do, I'm gonna see where it sits, and then depending on if I need to cut this out or not, I will. Well, I'd have to cut all this out, but say this little section here, if I could leave that for a little brace to keep this part, I will. So really, I guess what I'm saying is I'll cut most of this out, but if I could use like the edge of here and this, I'll tie those frame rails into that just to keep this supported, and then that 5 feet probably be about here, and eventually that'll be just boxed in and weld it all up. So yeah, get the gussets made, get this cut down, and I guess attempt to get it tacked in. That'd be a big win for the day. I've been measuring for the 4-link bars and everything, so probably get a universal triangulated 4-link kit and then start measuring. Well, I guess I'd get some measurements of the tire height and then just center that and start mocking up where the rear end will sit. But I can't do anything with the rear end as far as removing anything until I get these all welded in and I'm able to put those on the jack stands. So this is the goal for today. If I get this knocked out, that'll pretty much be it for the week on this. Order the back half stuff, probably go pick up some more frame rails for the front, and hopefully what is it, the end of April, so hopefully by the end of May, I wouldn't say hold me to it, but I'm gonna try to hold myself to it. By the end of May, hopefully I'm able to get all the chassis built for it. That'd be a good goal. And then once the chassis is built, the rear end's in, I can kind of start getting measurements for wheels. And if we get a rolling chassis, it'd be nice. A rolling chassis would be nice. And then once all the chassis stuff's done, that's when I'll start looking for the motor and transmission combo. Alright, so I have my 2 marks. So that'll give me, what was it, 60 inches or 5 feet from there to here, but I just measure off the end of here and subtracted that 3, so cut these down to 5 feet. This one I might need to grind down a little bit, but this one I'll definitely have to chop that much off, so it'll be 12 inches from here to here, same thing from here to here, and this will just straighten it out or square it off, seeing how this was off just a little bit. But yeah, so hooking up the chop saw now. I'll get that cut out and then mock them into place and get all this cut out. Alright, so I was going to plan on cutting these out for the gussets, but my neighbor gave me some spare scrap metal pieces. So I was looking at it and I was like, this should do the job. So I'll probably end up cutting that back half off. Won't need that. But I'll take this plate, which is probably 1/8 inch. It's a little thinner than this, but not by much. So what I do, I'll end up cutting this. Probably just cut the edge off, and it'll be somewhat of a bracket. So might be a better look at it. So cut it off where it's not hanging over this edge. So it'll probably be like cut there, then grind this down, and that'll be the gusset. So I'll weld the outside, and then I'll also fill in these holes and just give it a little bit more strength on that corner. So luckily I have 2 of them, so I need to mark where I want to cut those out at, get those welded on. They are cut down, so once the gussets are on there, I'll get them up under the car, mark where I need to cut out the remainder of what's under there, and hopefully start getting this tacked into place. And then once it's tacked in, I'll go through and stitch weld it. And with me being a fairly new welder, I might stitch weld it in, and then I'll go back in and connect those stitches. So try to weld the whole thing in just to give it a little bit more strength. But yeah, that'll be a gusset idea. I want to keep this back part clean. Same thing with this side, because this side I know that's where the lower 4-link bar will go. So I'll probably weld something on the back of here, and that'll be the mount for the 4-link bar. Then on this side is where the actual frame rails for the back half will be built off of. So yeah, just this top part here. Alright, so guts are all cut out. Next thing to do, just get out the flap disc, grind these down a little bit, clean up the edges, and get them welded on. So not as perfect as I wanted them to be, but that'll be alright. That'll be functional. But yeah, I probably should have just used a cutoff wheel instead of trying to use a chop saw. But you live and you learn. And the only reason I'm still welding inside is because I moved the money out a little bit. So I was debating just grinding and welding with the Monty sitting right there. I decided to put some gas in it. That could be the problem why the fuel pressure was dropping, if you followed that video. But yeah, fired that up, got it outside, and gave me a little bit more room in the garage. So might get some more gas later on and put it in there and see if we have any problems. Just let it run for a while because it hasn't been started in a little bit. But yeah, let's clean these up, get them welded on, and I kind of try to pick which side looked the best. So these will be the bottoms. So eventually this will be the driver's side, this will be the passenger side. So I'm gonna have to start well, not really mark them, but just keep that in mind. But yeah, get these welded on and start marking them up under the car, cut out what I need to cut out, and hopefully start getting them welded in there soon. Alright, so they're all cleaned up, ground down. Now I don't mean to brag, but I'm getting a little bit better at this. I'm getting a little bit better at it. This one I probably could have just, well, cleaned it up a little bit more, but I'm getting pretty good at this. So that one go there, or no, what side was it? That one there, that one there. Get these welded on, and we should be good. So fire up the welder, throw you guys back on time lapse. Get these welded on. Like I said, I'll welder on the outside and then just tack all these holes shut. So here we go. It just might be my angle, but this was left-handed. This was right-handed. I think I'm a little bit better with the left welded. But throw you guys back on the time lapse. Alright, so this is where I'm at. This is what I'm thinking. So bear with me. That garbage truck go. But you can kind of see it's somewhat mocked into place where I think I still have to trim this little section here, just to make sure everything's parallel. So up here it kind of tapers in a little bit. Right now it's like 8 inches. That needs to go out slightly, and then this comes to about 9 1/4. So it needs to come in a little bit. So once that's trimmed up, we should be good there. We'll have to notch this section here. So that's gonna be notched out and brought up. Pretty good inch maybe, yeah, about 1 inch. So 3 inches wide, 1 inch high. Cut all that out, and then that'll be filled in or welded in. A little bit of support there. It is cut down. So this might be cut back a little bit, but for the most part left a little extra. This will probably get a 1/4 inch piece. That's a flat piece for both sides. Weld that flat and then box this in. So I'll strengthen that back up. What else? And then I'll have to cut this section out. So what I'm going to try to do is cut this and leave this backside. It's a little tough. So I'll probably cut the bottom edge of this and leave this wall here for now. And if I can weld onto that, that's going to save me from having to brace all this back up. If that makes sense. So it's pretty close. I think right on the inside of here is at 9 inches from the inside of the rocker to here, and then get the 9 inches back there, and it should be straight. So that's the plan so far. So I have to cut all this out. Cut this wall out also. Leave that outside one, and just remove this one. So that's the plan. But alright, so I'm gonna call it a day for now. I'll come back out tomorrow. It'll be in my Saturday, or tomorrow will be my Sunday. So come out tomorrow. I got these welded in. I almost caught the call on fire. I guess some sparks went through this hole right there, and the insulation in between the firewall and, well, the insulation right behind the firewall started catching on fire. So I had to break out the fire extinguisher, pour some water in there, and we should be good. But these are just tacked on there, but for the most part they feel pretty secure. That's just going to keep the front end from moving around, so feel good about that. I did not start getting the frame rail tacked in yet because I'm still working on getting this cut out. It's one of those days I don't want to come out and mess with the PT, but I'm trying to have it done by the end of May, at least the chassis part of it. So I say at least the main frame rails and the back half, try to get those all finished. But yeah, just a little tired, but decided to come out instead of being lazy and get back with it. So I probably won't record too much today, but once I finish getting this stuff cut out up in here for the frame rail, and I'll try to knock out the other side, get them tacked into place or welded into place, and probably call it a day from there. I know usually don't take too much time off, but I know I'm gonna take one day off. My buddy's supposed to be racing up in Wyoming, so going up there to support him. Yeah, going up there to support him, so Might miss out on a day on working on this, but it's no problem. Schedule might be changing, so we're gonna have to work around that. But yeah, it's gonna come out, get started back on the PT, move the bike and the Monty out of the way, and just make some sparks. So here we go. Like I said, I won't cut the camera on too much, but I will cut you guys on once I get everything cut out, welded up, and we'll go from there. All right, so starting to feel a little bit. Kind of looks like I know what I'm doing. Little welding sleeves help keep some of the sparks down, but it's all cut out. I think I'm gonna attempt to slide the frame rail into place. I think everything should be, well, there should be enough room. I'll still have to clean this up under here, or this corner. So I'm doing a test fit. If it fits in here nicely, grind all this stuff up smooth, finish cutting this amount out. So this will be cut out. This eventually will probably be cut out, but we'll see. Trying to keep some of the support, but I'm pretty sure this brace will be cut out eventually. But try to keep this one and this one, or at least this little section here and here, and the frame rail should fit through it. I might have to trim a little bit up in this area. I just want to hit the test fit and see if the frame rail will fit in here. If it does, that's going to help me out a lot, keep stuff somewhat square. I'll probably go back in and weld a plate on the inside of here to close that gap up a little bit if I need to, or I might need to open it up depending on how straight I need to get it. But yeah, it's a little tight in there. Where's the adjustable hammer at? Yeah, so that's the first. Well, I'll get that out, slide that one into place, and cut you guys back on, let you know how it goes. It's a lot of work, but it's getting close. I can see the progress on this side, and it's looking good. I'll show you guys here in a second. So I think tomorrow I'm gonna get up earlier, come out here and knock out the other side, and get everything welded up. I think I'll do all that at the same time. I think I'll be okay cutting the other side out tomorrow, and then, like I said, load everything up the same day. So today, I'm gonna make sure the driver's side is in, and I know what to cut on the other side, and then we'll just get to cutting. But before I do that, man, that view, you gotta love it. Car's looking good out there. Elko, the Monty, the bike. Not sure if it's picking up, but that QA1 up under there was looking, or not QA1, UMI on the Monty, QA1 on the Elko. But I think I need a new creeper. I think this one seen better days. But yeah, so this needs to come over slightly, so you just grind that out a little bit, just a little bit. But I notched this part here, and then that plate on the back, notched that also, so it's good to go. I think this will come up just a little bit farther, I think. So let's adjust that. See, this gap is almost closed. I might have to make a little patch here to close that in once it is flush. I'm about to take it back out one more time and take a little bit out from here so that it is able to go up a lot higher. I'm not sure how much of this I'm about to cut out, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to cut a good chunk of it out to get the new frame and, or yeah, the front half in. So yeah, this needs to be cut probably, let's say half an inch, maybe half an inch out of here, so it's able to move up. So that would be flush all the way through here. This side here probably had to come out. So for now, I'm just have it cut. So I'll probably have to cut this brace out eventually, and then the piece back here on both sides. I'll try to keep those two, and then clamp this shut, or yeah, try to clamp it a little bit, and just weld it up to there. So I know these spot welds are good. So I'll weld this, clean that little surface rust up, or rust, clean that up. But yeah, I'll try to weld to this as much as possible. If I need to, take it all out and weld a plate to the back of it, because there's a little bit of a gap, and just plate all this in and then weld to that, so it's a little bit stronger. But yeah, I didn't want to cut all this out and have to reinforce it or box it up with the new steel. So I was like, I'll use the existing stuff. You know, there's a little dented up right there. I'll clean that up when it gets a repaint. But yeah, it's starting to look pretty good. Starting to look good. I can kind of see it now. Of course, that'll be welded to the rocker. All this will be stitch welded up to there, and then where that plate is and everything back there, all that will be all welded up with just stitch welds through here, full weld through here, and then there'll probably be, or it'll probably be cut probably about here, and it'll be a, oh my bad, probably like a 1/4 inch plate. So it'll be plated off of there, and then that's what the front half will be built off of. So that plate, of course, I'll box it in and do what I have to do to make sure it's nice and secure. But yeah, it's getting time consuming. I'm not complaining. I'm a little behind the ball, or a little behind where I want to be, but we are getting there. Alright, so here's where I'm at. Thought I was going to get started on the other side today. Probably not going to happen. Do need a new creeper though. That wheel's coming off. But everything's on there. Everything's pretty much within the same degree. Might be off by like 0.1, 0.2 here and there. But that's pretty much where it's going to sit. It's about the same distance off the rocker all the way down. I think it does taper off a little bit up front. I think it's a little bit narrower than the rear, so it's like just a hair off. The difference between the rocker and the frame rail. What I think I'm going to do, because eventually all this is going to get cleaned up, so I don't think I'm going to do anything on this side just yet. But I think I'll bring this back out and weld a plate in here. So it kind of just closes up this gap a little bit, or makes this flush. So I think just 3/16, I believe, and just plate it up in there, up against here. I'll probably cut this down so it's even. Put the plate in there, and then that would weld onto here, stiffen this up a little bit, so it'll close out the bottom, close out the side, or pretty much weld the bottom up, and then weld the top up on the plate in here. And I might make a little face plate for this side just to stiffen that up, and then the frame rail, once everything's in place, will be welded to this plate instead of this little thin piece, and it'll be welded alongside of it. So if I do that face plate, it'll be welded along there too, and then this side will just be welded up against the floor itself. Or all this along here pretty much gets stitch welded in, so probably like 3-inch sections just stitch weld in. All this will be welded in solid. these two sides and the bottom be welded in solid, and I'll see how much on the top I can get. I think I should be able to get a good amount of it, especially once this comes out after. So it might just be like 3 of the sides around here, and then once this bracket comes out, I'll be able to weld the top up. Same thing with back here. As much as I can, all this will be welded all the way up, just for support, and along the side here. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm about to get the frame rail back out, cut this plate down to size, trim up everything, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I think today, instead of getting started on the other side cutting up, I'm going to throw some welds on the driver's side, probably get this plate in, get everything tacked into place, and then start stitch welding a little bit. So that's the plan. It's not too late, so we get some stuff knocked out. Might hit up a bike night tonight, so it'll be depending on the weather. But yeah, let me stop talking and get the frame rail back out, get this plate cut down to size, and bust out the welder.